I see the signs and I'm moving about as quickly as I can now.
Used to wake up at dawn, check my Nikes for roaches, wipe the coat up out my eye, light up tree to fight the notion. I was far from getting on, now it's looking like I'm chosen, huh? Grinding so hard, you think I'm trying to bust a Trojan, but I know it's approaching like I copied and pasted from prophets and sages how to penetrate hearts. So what I jot on a page, I might reposition stars and the thoughts in the space. You get conviction mixed with art when I hop on the stage and believe we need healing, plenty beats need killing. So my pen bleeds, feeling it's deeper, they ain't spilling. Yeah, every time I speak, reveal it. I think brilliant, and I'ma reach 1 million of souls with these lines so precisely designed that it might seem divine. On the road to perdition, the blind lead the blindness on the screen and in the sky. Everywhere I see the sign, let go.
I see the signs and I'm moving. I see the signs and I'm moving. I see the signs and I'm moving about as quickly as I can now.
What's up, Internet? It's good to be doing these podcasts again. I recorded an episode on Friday, August the 12th. Today is Sunday, August the 14th. I recorded another podcast today. I decided, because my intro was so bad on Fridays, that I was going to cut that intro, and that is going to be the intro to this episode, which is technically episode number 50, but as you'll notice, episodes 2, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17, 19, 24, and 31 are all unlisted and unpublished. I didn't do a good enough job, and I wasn't ready for the internet. So I did take down some episodes. The episode 30 or episode 1 of the Balancing Act is not on Spotify or Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. That one is only on YouTube. It's called Stop Talking About It, Start Being About It. Also, episode 39 was a marathon episode, so you could count that as like 2 or 3 episodes. And then episode 14, which was the last time Kenny, who is the guest for this episode, the last time he was on was January 2nd, 2021. So it was good to have him back on. I got him on because he had been on twice, but it had never been just me and him. I also want to get Reezy and Timmy B on because they've both been on the podcast, but they haven't been one-on-one with me. And then also the podcast that I did today was with my dad, but I'm going to shoot a different intro for that. But I hope you enjoy this conversation with Kenny. I did. I appreciate you, Kenny, aka Coach Gray. And I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. What you got for us tonight, Kenny?
Well, hello everybody. It is a pleasure to be back.
Out of here.
Yeah, go ahead. It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and a pleasure to be back. It's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, I feel a little more comfortable. Like I was like very beginner with the podcast, and as I am rusty, but I do, as far as my vision and like what I want to accomplish with the podcast, I do feel like that's more refined, and I know what my goals are, and I have certain things that I'm not going to always like harp on those things, but I'm always going to circle back to certain things, you know. And
your roots.
Yeah, exactly right. So, anyways, but the first thing that I want to hear about whenever I get a guest on is just whatever you want to talk about. What's been on your mind lately? What do you feel about just the current state of the world? And then also, you know, I just like to talk about the deep stuff. Like, what do you think is our purpose in life? What do you think, like, we're here to do, you know, as humanity? Those are the types of questions that I like to discuss. Yeah. So just given that, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, it's just been crazy. As far as the energy and...
I mean, it's been crazy forever, but it kind of ramped up with COVID, right?
Yeah, it's really like becoming a wormhole, like a black hole almost. It's like, as far as the energy and the vibe, it's like everybody is not focused as they once was.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of it has to do with self-preservation, I believe. Almost like a selfish behavior, but it's not like a selfish behavior like I want to be number one. It's more like a selfish behavior where I gotta survive, I gotta look out for me type behavior. And
So economic pressure.
yeah, economic pressure, uh, health. Uh, the economy is going to crap.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's by design. I think it's being done on purpose. Um, Not, I mean, some of it is the after effects, I believe, by things that were done many, many years ago. It's not like, oh, there's certain thing where someone had this push a button and it's just happening now. I think this is the aftermath of a lot of things. And it's just boiled to a head. And they're just trying to do their best to keep from society from, strangling itself, I believe. Now, is it for society's benefit? Probably not. We're talking about the government. We're talking about powers to be. There's always self-interest and power to be gained in their mind.
Yeah, you think it's just? I think it's about control.
Yeah, it is, and it has a lot to do where it's almost I wasn't paying attention as close as I thought I was, especially like with the land and stuff and property and the transfer of wealth. Like the okay, it was the gentrifying of the neighborhoods at first, like in the local areas where people was moving back into the cities. A lot of blacks and minorities are losing because they wouldn't pay their taxes. A lot of it was self responsibility on their own part. Whether they couldn't afford it or they just wasn't. Family couldn't come together and decide, because that's a lot of that happens in the black community where family can't get together and come to a common goal or agreement. And so things go array, someone gets it, they hoard it, or they, don't make it accessible to the rest of the family members. And so then things go wayward, and then somewhere along the lines, the taxes don't get paid.
You think that has to do with like a ethos or just a prevailing culture that is just very individualistic?
Somewhat, I think.
I mean, I feel like that's what fractures families, is like people want to be better than their family member rather than
instead of all come
together.
along. All come along, but I think with the system that's in place, it's just the thing of really not having ownership bothers me. Like, especially with land, I could see you getting punished, getting fined, even if they say, okay, fine, you got to do jail time. But if you don't pay your taxes, you lose your land.
Yeah, land ownership is definitely a weird one, because what if you're not, I mean, the way our economic system is set up is people can get paid just for owning land, pretty much. If they own enough of it, they can just rent a certain amount off, and then that pays the taxes on the rest of it. But for people like what you're talking about, like middle class folks or middle lower class folks, really middle lower class folks, it's almost impossible to get a home to own land at this point, like what you're talking about.
And that's what bothers
it's getting
me.
Squeezed out.
Like our kids.
But is land ownership even? I mean, what do you think about private property? Is that even?
Is it really private anymore?
Well, is it even a good idea? It's like, I'm not a huge
in my mind because
of
my age group and how I was raised. I would like to think so.
I think it's an agreement that can make things better amongst a large group of people. But I also think we need to have an understanding of why private property is beneficial. In order for it to be beneficial, you know what I mean?
I think private property now should be used for self-sufficiency.
Yeah, but then you're also, what about people that own thousands of acres?
Well, let's talk
And
about
they're not doing anything
let's talk about how they gained it.
Right. Exactly. No,
Like, I mean,
that's exactly.
there's a lot of history behind a lot of these big, massive ranch owners for generations.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't no sweet story of how they got this land.
No, for
So
sure.
I really don't feel sorry for them.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, man, is, I'm a member of the Native American church.
Yeah,
And
that's so I'm like a lot of these big ranchers and stuff out west and the Midwest and all over the place like that. Like, a lot of these families have dark histories.
I saw a redneck tell a Native American on online. I guess it might have been a meme, but it was still like a redneck type of person saying to a Native American, "If you don't like this country, go back to where you came from." And the Native American was like, "That's ironic."
That's a good one. And it's like, yeah, it's just crazy because I think the one thing that this whole country was really everybody wanted was something to call their own. So it's crazy that you fight a tyranny, rule, and then you turn around and place the same system basically.
I feel like with the Indigenous people, it was like they didn't even understand private property when the white people got over here. They didn't. It was like a foreign concept to them altogether. I feel like with them, it was like the land that you could maintain and take care of was yours.
Yeah.
And you shared that with other people that would maintain and take care of the land with you. And there would be territorial scuffles from time to time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was 100% peace all the time, but those scuffles would play themselves out, and sometimes there would be deaths. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was a lot better than world wars with hundreds of thousands, millions of people dying. A little scuffle is a lot better, over like a little, that's
20 or 30.
Yeah, that's totally different. That's
what
they call that, primitive, but civilized is millions dead and bombs and poisoning prisoners of war and torture, and that shit wasn't going down. No. Yeah, there might have been some hatchets to the head over some land every now and then.
And now,
but
so you have all the elite. So you have all the corporations. You have all the elite buying up all the land. And they're not doing nothing with it all over the world. And like, you don't see it on the news, but if you go around to all these places like New Zealand and all these other places where the elite is going and building bunkers and all this other kind of crazy stuff that they're doing, like, they're buying up everything, raising the price up, and the people that live there cannot afford to be there anymore.
It's happening everywhere. BlackRock, that investment firm, BlackRock, they're a big driving force behind that.
And the market just hit them hard.
Yeah, well, is that good for the rest of the world, or is that bad for the rest of the world?
Did you see where they tried to do that little tri-state thing?
Mm-mm. Man,
I was reading about it. Well, they was trying to, I think it was Alabama, Arkansas. I don't want to say Tennessee.
What are they trying to do?
Okay, so the money, all those 3 states needed money. So they was willing to basically sell the states away to BlackRock, and they would put in their own committee. Like
selling
appointed
the actual state itself, the whole state, or just parts of the state?
The rights. Like, basically
to the entire state.
Bro,
to basically govern the state? Is that what you're getting at?
Basically.
Shit.
And it was and they're focused in southern areas that's poor as shit that need money.
Right.
And so the deal is like, we'll give you the money that you need for your infrastructure, but we kind of want to,
influence things.
We're going to put a board of directors in place to make all the decisions upon the land.
Wow.
And we'll get to decide who gets land.
Wow.
Like, bruh, I was watching Glenn Beck.
You were watching Fox? Is he on Fox?
No, I was watching his little podcast.
Okay, I don't.
Is
he still on Fox? I don't watch Fox or CNN
Fox. I was watching.
Is he okay? I don't know. I thought he was like a kind of a.
I mean,
radical-ish.
At this day and time, man, I like to I like
mean,
to
you
hear
should get. Yeah, I
everybody's
was gonna say it's
perspective.
good to listen to
I
everybody.
can't. I
I
can't.
shouldn't make any assumptions based
Yeah,
on other people's
but everything,
take.
like everything in anybody, you got to take it as a grain of salt. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for sure, for sure.
And the way I feel now with the agendas that's being pushed is kind of pushing me towards that kind of group. You know what I mean? Because I'm so against what's going
Well,
on
you're a
now.
veteran, right? Army
Yeah.
vet,
No, I'm an Air Force guy.
Air Force vet.
Yeah, but I was special operations, and I was joint forces with the Army.
Got you.
Yeah, so
So, has that influenced your decisions in the
it,
community? I don't want to use the word politically because, yeah, I don't even know
if
about
you speak
politics
to most
anymore. But
veterans, they got a little alt with the government, or
yeah,
they feel some kind of way, slighted in some kind of way, and rightfully so.
yeah, for sure.
Especially if you've been hurt and you're fighting with the system. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
um, it bothers me because the lie that they make you feel, they tell us all throughout, elementary school and everything. And you find out like it's really like a king that's been lying to you your whole life. And it's not been for this big, beautiful picture they've been, selling you.
Right.
And it's always been about personal greed and bloodlines. And
Yeah, do you even believe in countries? I don't. I'm like starting to believe that countries are just kind of bullshit. It's really
at one time it
corporations.
existed.
Maybe, but it's now it's
But it's
more of
been
a,
far gone. It was
yeah,
real, like, I want to say
it's global
when
corporate.
the Industrial Revolution happened.
You think it was that early? Yeah, I mean, I guess kind of with Rockefeller oil. Yeah,
It happened in the Industrial Age.
yeah.
And it happened early.
The roots of it, the seeds and roots, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I really want to say, like,
But it's a different
early
animal now.
1900s.
It's a different animal now with technology.
It's only a different animal now because they hide themselves better. They got more avenues to hide
Nah,
themselves.
I don't know about that. I think
You
they're
don't
more
think so?
exposed. But at the same time, they have the authority somehow to regulate even the internet. Well, at least certain search engines.
Because they own these things.
Yeah, the internet itself is military technology, so that's
They
true.
own these things. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not like you ever seen the have you ever seen the cartoon Apocalypse?
I've heard somebody tell else. It's like an Adult Swim one, right?
Yeah, and it's
Somebody else was telling me to
about a
watch that.
heavy metal band, but they kind of control and ran like the government. This secret board of people dictates what they do and what music they let out and all kinds of stuff because it controls the people.
Yeah, that sounds
Like
similar to the. Have you seen the Netflix show Inside Job?
you know what? I've been wanting to see it.
They talk a little bit about something like that. It's just like one scene, but what you were talking about reminded me of a scene from that.
But the biggest thing, like I said, my biggest thing, like I say, with as far as the veteran thing, is as far as like the land thing I see is going on, and I see where the power grab for it is because this is how I look at it, G. Like, okay, if your family right now, the way I see it going, if the housing market don't clear itself up, bro, there's gonna be a lot of people in the street.
Yeah, how do the homeless people organize and obtain land and make it a community farm and start showing?
They have to be like the
greater
Vietnam vets when they came back from Vietnam and Humboldt, and they're just gonna have to band together and get something, and it's going to be like the way I see the way the economy and the future going. Like if you want to survive like that, you're gonna have to like start these little communities where like everybody has a little section of a big piece of like you don't have to be big. Like 100 acres can fit a lot of people.
Yeah, but at the same time, how crowded do you want to be, and how much land do you need to dedicate to farming or animal husbandry?
Yeah, but that's what you have to sit down and think out first. I mean, you couldn't just invite people and then think about that shit afterwards.
Yeah,
you know
for sure. You would need to do some.
Like I would say, like
planning.
on 100 acres, I wouldn't have no more than maybe 10 folks. Well, I mean, like when I say 10 folks, I mean like, okay, maybe
that's probably
4 families of 4, maybe.
Really, on 100 acres?
Yeah, let's say 4 families of 4.
Yeah,
That's
I think
if
you could
you.
actually fit a little bit more than that.
Yeah, but I'm saying if
But that's
okay,
comfortably.
yeah,
That's comfortably for sure.
and then have enough people. So that's if you're incorporated doing everything together.
Yeah, no, you still want to be regardless. Well, yeah, if you're not doing everything together, then even that can be a little uh, tight
Yeah,
if you're against each other.
yeah. Something happened, you start making boundaries on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no, that's no good either.
you
But
you don't have an allegiance with me because I don't have I don't like this one, so I expect for you not to like them. But
right.
so then like allegiance is dumb, man, people. But yeah,
I lived on 37 acres my senior year of college, and everybody out there was pretty cool. But I can see how
uh-huh.
if there was somebody that everybody didn't like, that how the politics could sway real quick
Real
because it's
quick.
so small. You know, it's only a
Yeah,
few amount of people. Fortunately for us, it was everything was cool, but
this
I could see how it could turn quick in a situation like that.
because like I said, a lot of people don't a lot because when I was coming up as a young man, like land was more important. Like it was a thing like you wanted to obtain when you was like, I want to get a job, I want to get me a piece of land, put a house on it. You know what I'm saying?
And people just seem to not care about it anymore.
Yeah, until you can't afford your fucking rent and your food and everything else.
It's wild. Now I definitely think my next big investment is going to be a chunk of land. I've been saving up for it.
I mean, just even if you don't do nothing, just have it in case you gotta bug out. Shit get too crazy, but give yourself a chance, a fighting chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let the melee clear itself out.
for real.
Cause like I told my mom, I said, if anything does happen, like after the city folks like do each other in, like they're coming to the country. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that in our lifetime. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I don't know if we ever see anything cause like they want to make you believe like it's right around the corner. I don't know if it really is or not.
You mean like a civil war or an apocalypse type of deal?
I
Yeah,
don't
no.
really think it's right around the corner, bro. Like they want to push
I
that.
actually think we could avoid it.
Yeah. Like
They want to push it so bad that makes me feel like we could totally avoid it.
just like this whole Ukrainian thing, Russia thing. It's a good thing you said about the world thing, right? Like I've been really thinking that all these dudes is in cahoots, bro.
Oh, for sure. I totally agree with that.
This is the first war I've ever seen where you don't see nothing of. You don't see no boots on the ground. They show like damage and destruction, but I
that
mean,
podcast I was on, Realize Radio with Human Vibration. Human Vibration, her whole Twitter is dedicated to deception, or well, not just deception,
yeah,
but she talks a lot about how most of what we see on TV is actors and it's bullshit.
yeah.
It's political theater.
Cause being a veteran and really, seeing war and stuff like that, bro. Like I've never seen where it's not televised, where you don't see nothing. You see how much footage you got from the Afghani war and the Iraq war and Syria. You see how much footage they had?
Well, they have footage of stuff going down over there, but it looks off. It looks.
It depends on
staged.
what kind of footage it is.
It looks staged. A lot of it.
Maybe.
I haven't been paying too close of attention because I'm checked out of anything on television, man.
Well, like I said,
everything on television is
like
a lie.
the balls of it all, like the after 9/11 type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't really speak on like the late, but from 2001 to 2006 to 2005, like it was shitty. It was shitty. A lot of good pins.
Where did you get deployed?
We were leaving out of Turkey going into Afghanistan. I never did anything in Iraq. Never did step foot in Iraq. But Afghanistan, I've seen plenty of. Did 2 tours. Then I did a tour and well, it really won't. It was after Desert Storm, but they tried to say it's part of Desert Storm, but it wasn't. But in the book folks to say I'm a Desert Storm veteran, but it was just like patrolling type thing. You know what I mean? And there's like a lot of different contingency stuff. Just, you know what I mean, special operations support stuff. But yeah, nothing really didn't really like the Bosnian Kosovo thing. That was ugly. I got to see a little bit of that. That was ugly. Just like for training purposes and stuff like that. That was ugly. Because they was basically genociding. You know what I mean? Just killing folks type thing, putting people out the houses.
Talk a little bit about, because I just read a book called Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
It's written by a vet, and he talks about the dichotomy between civilian life and military active duty life, and the shock of coming back home. And it's like you've sacrificed so much for these people, and these people for the most part have no fucking idea or like decency or respect for veterans.
Yeah, it's like a lot of lip service.
Yeah,
it's like this, like you
like
still get dirty lips, like
counts and shit like that. But
yeah, like when I first came back home, like
yeah, no, he even says like one of the things that bothers a lot of vets is people saying thank you for your service, because it's like that's just such a fucking
generic type.
Yeah,
and it's like so old. Even when they first started doing it, it was like,
yeah,
because a lot of us was fucked up physically and mentally.
Yeah.
And then you fight, and then like getting out, like you know what I mean. If you was trying to stay in and trying to fight it, or what kind of percentage they was giving you when they was boarding you out, or whatever the case may be, man. You know what I mean? Whether they made you a dope head,
right?
You know what I mean?
Agent Orange and shit back in Vietnam.
Yeah, like my uncle died of that shit. Like
Agent Orange.
Okay, so I give you a little quick little breakdown, right? So you get injured. Say you get injured, you get hurt real bad, and they just give you pills,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't really talk to nobody. You can't say nothing. Like your spouse, your old lady don't understand what's going on with being, what you might be fighting in your head, thoughts and and all that type of stuff in your head, and you're fighting with your old lady, your home life fucked up. You're afraid to be open because if you say something the wrong thing, you could get boarded out if you're trying to stay in, because like a lot of guys don't have no plan. Like the guys who are gonna stay in the military, like they have a plan, but it's not a plan ready to kick and drive right away. It's like after I retire type plan. It's never like, yo, I want to get out and do this. Like some guys who know what they want to do, they come in, they do their time and go. But most guys, they get in, they say they're gonna get out, but you meet a girl, you get a girl pregnant. You start seeing the world, traveling. You like the lifestyle. You know what I mean? There's a lot of benefits. It ain't the money, but it's a lot of, other benefits to it. And a lot of guys, they ain't came from nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's a recruiting process. A lot of people forget it's a screening and a recruiting process for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why like they don't let a lot of like rich people sign up and stuff like that. At one time, I don't know now, but I had a buddy that they found out that he was a trust fund kid. And in order to get his trust fund, he had to do 4 years. And they told him it was a conflict of interest because his family was too wealthy. Because basically that told me that I can't control you. Per se, a young boy from the South who don't have shit, family don't have nothing, living in a shack, been, come from a family of, old, carpetbaggers, sharecroppers, that type thing. So I realized early in my first years of service that, damn, they want a certain type of person. You know what I mean? And and then like I saw like guys that had athlete, intramural sports and had opportunities to go try, the pro level type stuff. Some of them would get a chance to go, some of them wouldn't. It just depends on the commanding officer type thing. So, but yeah, like that opened my eyes up. I was like, wow, they really wanted to get him out, but then the commanding officer said, well, the dude said, look, I can't, I got to. It's in like that's why I got to serve everybody. Like the family was along. Like they had their lineage documented, how far back each generation served in the military. So it was a stipulation for him to get his trust fund. So they let him do, but they wouldn't let him re-enlist. He had, he did his 4 years, and that was it. So yeah, and so like with all that, like I was saying, like it just seemed like everything you were sold or what you were taught, it was just one big lie, really. And you feel cheated. And you feel cheated. Because like to get back to like I was saying, like they make these monsters and then they don't care about fixing you. Like, and then like with all of like the red flag laws and stuff like now, you're not gonna get a lot of veterans being truthful. Because one thing every veteran want to do is protect themselves.
Right.
That's like one of the top things on their list. You know what I mean? Eat, let me get a gun to protect myself. So now if I'm worried about if I say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing and while I'm being evaluated or at appointments, I can get tagged. Now I don't have a right to defend myself. And like as being a veteran, like I done had many dreams where where I have a weapon but I don't have any ammo. Like that's one of the reoccurring dreams I always have. Like I'm being chased or I'm in a fight and I have a weapon but I don't have, a way of using it.
Do they teach religion at all in the military? They don't talk about it at all.
They let you worship freely, whoever you want to pray to.
Right, but they don't hold any services or anything like that.
I mean, yeah, they got chapels and stuff on church.
Do they encourage it though?
I mean, not really.
Nah.
Like, like it's just like here, you have a preacher come around every once in a while, invite you out to come to chapel service, that type thing. I mean, really the biggest religious influence come from the actually military members themselves. Them trying to, you know what I mean, project their beliefs and value systems on.
I was going to ask, do a lot of people believe in God in the military or?
It's mixed, man. You got like when I was in, when I was in, it was not very many Muslims. Very, very few. But a ton of Catholics. Baptists, Protestant. They had, like I said, every denomination. Like the chapel wasn't just a chapel, just like it just wasn't just a Baptist. So this is how they ran it. Chapel on Sundays. 8 to 9 was Baptist service. 9 to 10 was Catholic service. And at different times for whatever denomination was. Yeah. But nah, just more of you, your buddies and stuff inviting you to, out to church. And it won't more so in basics like when you got your first duty station and stuff. Like it always seemed like every squadron had a Bible thumper in it.
That's the thing for me that is like, maybe it's just the hippie in me, but it just seems like a conflict of interest to be like super spiritual and then to also be like killing.
It's it's an iron. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
You think about it because, like, with my mom being a witness and everything, they're all anti-government. They're like the only religion I really know of that's anti-government.
Who's that?
Witnesses, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, right.
They don't vote. They don't do nothing. Yeah, they don't believe. I grew up everything like I remember because like the teachers assumed that my mom raised me in the faith, And they like when I was growing up, my mom had stopped going because my dad gave her such a hard time about it. He gave her a real hard time, so she stopped going. But I never. But she's still practicing the home. You know what I mean? But like going to church and stuff like that. Growing up, nah, I ain't none of that. I remember like really the first time going to church was overseas at my first duty station, and my supervisor invited me to church. And
Did your beliefs about God change during your military tenure? How?
Well, I've always was searching. I was just trying to figure out what was true and what wasn't. You know what I mean?
Some people believe that God is the truth. Like there's no difference. God is what is real. The truth is God, and everything else is a lie. Existence itself is truth. Is God. And there are certain truths about the way that reality operates too. Some people believe this. I'm not saying that this is...
No, I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up because I never really kind of looked at it like that before. You know? I have to honestly say I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, they say that the search for truth is the same thing as the search for God.
Well,
certain it's a certain way of thinking. I kind of resonate with that.
And it's kind of because, like I said, like you search for the truth, and he's supposed to be the truth. So I could see 100% in that, like searching for that. But like, like everything else is like. That's why I say like we live in a time where everything is like is like you question yourself. Everything you believed in, everything you've taught yourself. Like, it's so much going on right now. Like, you're really like, what is what right now?
Well, that's the thing about doubt. And that's the thing about the relationship between doubt and truth is like, if you doubt everything, the truth will survive. The truth will survive your doubt. And lies cannot survive your doubt, you know? So I think it's healthy to doubt. I also think, you know.
Well, I think even in some forms of Christianity, you're supposed to question some things.
Oh,
You're
for
not
sure.
you're not supposed to just believe everything and just run with it. You're supposed to study these things and search for yourself.
What I was going to say is doubt can be a double-edged sword, though, because if you doubt the truth, then you can lose your connection.
But sometimes our doubt is our own insecurity too. But you got to be able to realize that. I think, like, just speaking with me and myself.
Don't doubt your own self. Don't doubt your own.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times,
power, your own intuition.
Yeah,
is really what I'm getting at. Intuition.
A lot of times,
that's like your connection to truth or to God, or if you want to call that God.
Yeah.
But I think that's your connection to just knowing. You know, like the true knowing. Like I've said this before on different podcasts, but it's like you don't have to teach your heart how to beat.
No.
Some things you just know. Your body just knows.
Especially when if you watch babies.
Watch a baby grow up. Exactly right.
They do things that just instinctively. That you don't got to teach them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, I think babies are the like, because they don't know fear. That's why you got to protect them so much. Mm-hmm. Like, they see a cliff, they have no recollection of the danger of if I walk off this cliff, I won't be here no more. Right. But they don't know that. They just be smiling, having the best day of their life.
Right.
So, like that's real. Like, that's pure. Like, not having fear. You know.
That's innocence. But I feel like wisdom is pretty much the same thing as being childlike, but without the innocence. Because you know better. You've learned. You know. But I feel like you kind of have to. At least in this world, in this society, hopefully we can make it a different world so that you don't have to do this. But I do feel like, at least in this world, you kind of have to fall to understand how this hell, this dream of hell, as the Toltecs would call it, operates. Where people are judging other people, taking everything personally, making assumptions about everything.
I just said on this. I'm trying to figure out
their word against each other to bring people
when
down.
Did people get so sensitive? That's what I'm starting to realize. When did people start getting so sensitive?
Well, I think that's, again, I think that actually comes back to the individual thing, the individualism, because everybody's taking everything personally. And really what
I know
what
times
that
is hard.
amounts to is you're more important than listening to this idea that conflicts with what you already believe.
But who put that thought there? If you're really focused on, and see, that's what's going on. Like a lot of people, they don't know what makes them happy because they're too busy chasing something that they see that they think will make them happy. You know? But it's not until you really hit rock bottom, until you really find out what really is important to you. So everything been stripped away from you. Like I think for me, that's how I found myself. I mean, everything had to be stripped away from me. Everything. Everything. And it wasn't until that time, man, that I found out what it was who I was, what I wanted to do, and what direction I wanted to go in my life. Now, I still hadn't figured out what I actually wanted to do as far as like, let's say like a career type thing. But as far as how I wanted to handle my life and control of it, like I had my idea on that. And I was like, you know, I'm not going to let money dictate to me my happiness. I need it, but I can't allow it to dictate to me of where I'm going to be, what I'm doing, that kind of thing. I was, after getting out of the military, I said I'll never ever let nobody have control over me like that again. And so, like, I really have been blessed enough, man. It's been rough, you know, but I have been, for the most part, you know, kind of free. You know, kind of free for the most part. It hasn't been easy, but I haven't had nobody over my shoulder. I haven't had no clock to punch.
Well, speaking of control, what do you believe about the institution of marriage? You're not married, right?
No.
No, I didn't think
I
so.
once was.
I know. Same.
Marriage, man. Wow.
That's a topic that I'm going to start bringing up more often with just to get people's take on it. I don't know that monogamy is natural.
That's because it's like, I don't know, man. If you look at nature, men spread their seed throughout the colony.
Throughout the tribe.
If you look at any other animal kingdom, bro, like the male, he has his harem, and he does his breeding, and he makes sure his bloodline is passed on. And I mean, it's just, I don't know, cause I mean, is it a manly, fleshly thing, or is it just nature thing? Cause then, like I said again, cause like society would tell you, or religions would tell you, you know, that's just a fleshly lust thing. But like, I think men have a natural instinct in them to just be attracted to multiple species.
Especially when they're in heat. It's just like, it's biology.
Yeah.
It's not like a...
It's not like I'm trying to do
creepy
wrong by
thing, or-
you. I'm not
yeah.
looking for it.
Mm-mm.
But sometimes pheromones is just, the chemistry is just,
Yep.
the stars align.
Mm-hmm.
Like some, like I've seen a movie and he said, I just can't get rid of you. Oh man, but like, marriage is tricky, bro. I like the thought of it, but the legal bonding of it,
Yeah, when you
to
bring
where
the government in,
where
it's a little
you
different.
where you can be
I've
stripped
al- I-
of
that's what
all you have, and
That's exactly
like
what
that
I said.
ain't
Yep.
that is, I don't
I
know,
said
bro.
I'm never getting another government
That's
marriage.
not a contract.
If they want to do like a spiritual religious ceremony and
Yeah.
there's no government attached
Jumping
to it,
over the broom, breaking the glass,
we
stomping
do
on the
whatever.
glass.
Yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do in that regard. You know.
But they've made it
Yeah, but I'm not bringing the
a
government
business.
into it. Yeah.
You got to get a fucking license to get married.
That's the part where I'm good on that. I'm good
Why
on
you
that.
got to pay to get married?
Bruh, something's up with that
Back
whole
in the
thing.
day, all you had to do is find a preacher. Now you got to pay the preacher too. It's a business.
Yeah.
That's another thing. That's another thing. Speaking of preachers, like preachers shouldn't get paid to preach the gospel. I don't think they should.
Yeah, you think, well, you know, there's been a movement toward community, like home. You know, Timmy B's parents are a part of like a group where they go to a different house every Sunday and they just do their Bible reading. There's no pastor. We didn't finish. I just thought about this. We got a little distracted. So you said my question was, how did your view of God change during your course in the military? And you said you were always searching for truth, and then I cut you off and
Oh,
started talking about how
oh yeah.
truth and God are the same thing.
Well, yeah. Because like doing certain things, it makes you question what is, and what ain't,
Mm-hmm.
and why if this existed, why would allow this to happen?
Right. That's actually what I wanted to get at, because you know,
And then like
a lot of people, if you're in the military, you're seeing some pretty intense shit.
yeah, but for me it was all training. And like I said, it was all training up to after 2001. You know, like
But even then, doesn't some of those experiences make you question, like
man, it was all
why a creator would put you in a situation like that?
not at the time because it was just a thought.
You didn't really think like that at the time. You were just kind
Yeah,
of following orders.
yeah. It was just like everybody was just like it was just the military was a stepping stone. What do I think about going to no damn war? And the way that they fought the last war, which was Desert Storm, hell, they they flew in there, they bombed everything, and it was over with. You know what I mean? Well, nobody. You had a couple people put boots on ground doing Desert Storm, but it was not like going in Iraq and Afghanistan, bro.
Right.
Um, I'll tell you what, man. You want to talk about that good guy, Brian Oakley. I don't know if you know Brian Oakley, but he was with the 82nd Airborne, and he was like one of the first airdrops in Iraq. Yeah,
Is he from Middlesex?
Yeah. Grew up on Waterview with me. And there's a couple guys that I grew up with and went to school with, like all of us, combat vets. So we've all got different stories, you know what I mean? So, but paratrooper, like that's rough.
You saw people die in battle?
I've seen some things. I've seen some things.
Does that make you question whether or not there's a God, though? Like, that's really what I'm getting at. Like, as a veteran that has seen some shit like that, doesn't that make you question whether or
It
not
make
there's a
me
God?
feel like the devil is real.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say I'm avoid the question, but I don't know. There's some things that always kind of reassure me, kind of bring me back to like,
You think, well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but kind of circling back to the truth thing, this is kind of how I see it, and I think it's kind of how the Toltecs would see it, is like, with truth being God, lies are kind of like what the devil represents, right? And so when people's belief system gets so fucking corrupted that they're willing to kill to defend the lies that they believe, that is what symbolically you could call devilish.
I mean,
or evil, or that's what people call evil. But
the way I look at it now,
I see it
though,
as the result of believing in lies. I'm sorry I cut you off, but go
no,
ahead.
but but I mean, you really don't have to be in a war, really, the way that the world is in today. You don't have to be in a war to question if there's a God or not.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a lot
'cause
going on now that will make you question if he exists or not.
for sure.
But yeah, when I was in, it was times that I was like, man, like if a God really existed, why this would be allowed, and all these type things. But you know, but if on principle of things, if he's give you free choice and a free will, like you still have your choice of what you want to be, what team you want to be a part of. Now,
But don't you think, this is a Rasta thing here, is like, when it comes to war, don't you think that both sides are kind of lies? If you're willing to fight over, unless it's like, again, what we were talking about earlier, like a tribal thing back in
yeah,
the ancient days where it was just a little land scuffle. But when you're talking all out war, the way that war is done today, the
I
Rasta would
think
say
I
that
think it's
that's,
nothing. I think it's nothing of God.
yeah, it's a
Like to
liar, a
me,
god that represents lies,
like
and a god
say
that
to
represents
say, oh,
lies.
we're doing this for God and country. Like no, like I think war, what we see today and what's going on today is nothing of God. I think that's just pure human greed, hunger, and thirst for power.
And deception when it comes to, like you were talking about, recruiting soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
because it ain't really about patriotism.
Because
It's
right now,
you're
man,
fighting for the
what we
rich
looking at
people
is
that
legal. The
that they
government,
can control. That you just, like you're talking about the example with
man.
your trust fund guy.
Yeah,
That's
like my
exactly.
thing is like to me, it's just like having legal gangs. Like we was part of gangs. If you really want to look at it, like if you really want to look at it, man, like look what the United States has done over the years, bro. Like we impose our will.
Yeah, for sure. The
Like
U.S.
fuck
military is
you.
the biggest gang in the world, most powerful gang in the world, anyway.
And like these pussies, like they worried about like nuclear threats. Yeah, they want you to think that. Them motherfuckers want you to. Them old motherfuckers ain't trying to ruin. If they willing to fight over this motherfucker, why would they destroy it?
You mean the land itself?
Hell yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't destroy what I built. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, I'm not gonna destroy my bloodlines. I got grandchildren and all that kind of shit. I'm just gonna see them wiped off the face of the earth. Like, bro, all this shit is to establish these motherfuckers' bloodlines, bro. For the years to come, for this new world order that's coming, man.
So, as far as weapons of mass destruction, you don't believe they're ever going to set
It
anything
won't
off
not
like
a
that?
motherfucking one over there, bro.
You think the atomic bombs were the last time that anything like that would happen?
I won't say that. It's always a crazy motherfucker out here.
Right?
It's just now, like, as long as they getting what they want, it's cool. It's when somebody don't play along, when the rules is broken, that shit get broke out. Think about the bombing or whatever happened with the shit. Was it in Lebanon when they fucking blew up the granary? Bruh. That was a flex move.
Yeah, I don't know enough about geopolitical war, but I know there's shit going on in Northern Africa and all over the Mediterranean.
Man, fucking Israel
North
and
Africa and
last
Israel,
week, Israel and
Palestine.
bro, they was bombing each other like crazy, shooting missiles back and forth.
Mm. Mm.
Over what? Deception and lies
The
of
same shit that they've been fighting over for, what, how many years?
because if you really go back to the old studies and shit, G,
It's
like
biblical.
it's the human input that makes it corrupt.
Oh, for sure.
Even the idea about it. Okay, if you think about Christianity, they say don't fight over if someone don't like, according to the Bible, you're not supposed to argue or fight over whether God is real or not. If someone want to argue about that, you know what I mean. You're supposed to refrain from it. Let them think what they think, and then when they leave your presence, you're supposed to pray for them and pray that they, that one day maybe their heart or mind will change or something, whatever the
I never heard
case may
that.
be. That's how it's supposed to be, bro.
According to
Same
who?
scripture.
Okay.
According to scripture, I'm not supposed to argue with you over whether God is real or not. I'm not supposed to even argue over the scripture with you. Because they say in the street, you both look like fools. No one knows who's the smarter or who's the dumb. Like if you look at arguing, the two people in the street arguing and who's the smart one? Who's the dumb one? You don't know. You just see two raving mad people trying to get at each other. And that's what the scriptures say. So it says that if you're not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to have something about you, a light about yourself, or something like an aura or a spirit feeling about yourself that people say, like they say, be a beacon of light. So you're supposed to live your life in such a way that someone is interested enough to say, hey, look, dude, what is it that makes you who you are? And you tell them your story, and they either get with it or not, or they, but you're not supposed to argue. And then when they go, you're supposed to pray peace upon their life, and that their heart may change, and their mindset may be changed. But to argue over it, to war, no. And it's the same thing in the Quran. They say pray for you, but you ain't supposed to war, and But the Quran got some, some wow stuff. So
I've never read it, so I don't know.
I mean, some of their beliefs as far as how things came to be, but basically,
so does the Christian book.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does. But the idea of it all,
but so does science. I mean, really, is that any different than a religion at this point?
Well, a lot of experts would tell you that science is nothing but
theories.
I've heard people say science is really like the application of spirituality.
For sure, there is I think the scientific method is different than science. Science, the way it is presented today, is very politically charged.
But a lot of it, if you get to the roots of it, like everything in
science can never be settled. That's the thing. Science
is a process,
and it's also the history of most people being wrong about most things most of the time.
Yeah,
science has throughout history proved itself wrong time and time again. So it's never settled.
But I do know there's a connection between numbers.
Well, yeah, numbers
and different. You know what I mean? Like I think there is a big connection there. But
numbers are still concepts.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It's pretty solid. Like the way that math works is like a pretty solid. It's really a philosophy. Math is technically, when you break it down, it's a philosophy of counting and a lot of different elements of measuring and calculating
and time. Time is probably the biggest one.
Yep.
Because we only have so much of it as far as a physical form.
Time is interesting, how it even exists, because the only thing that's real is the moment, right?
Especially now, because you don't know because the history that we learn is a history that they told us. It's not the history that actually, bruh.
Oh, without a doubt.
Then with every conqueror comes a new story.
I'm more and more convinced that your people are native to this. Not necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. There may have been a transatlantic slave trade. I'm not denying that, but I think that there were brown people in America, not like light-colored Native American. I think there were black people in America prior to colonization.
Okay, so
there's a book called "They Came Before."
Who was the first people to really start a trade, international trade? Wasn't it the Chinese in Africa?
There's different theories on that. A lot of people say it was the Chinese. Some people look. There's so much conflict as now. I mean, there was the mainstream story, but now that is so debated as to.
But then again, if you look at the map, how the lands are, it looked like there was some kind of geological shift, though. Like if
Oh,
you,
for sure.
because if you look at Africa and you see Southwest Asia,
You talking about like a Pangea theory?
yeah,
No,
like
I totally agree.
like you
It
could
seems
tell
like
where
something could happen.
like Saudi Arabia and all them, like it was just like you could see if it could fit together like in a puzzle.
I'm telling you,
All the
I'm
thing is,
totally with it.
so like I think like, but again, time.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, again, science, is it a revolving?
You think it's time cyclical? I think it's more like a spiral. There's similar resonances every time we get back to the same point, but it's a little different than it was the time before.
Yeah, but what
because
cycle
of,
is the Earth in?
Yeah, I mean, the Toltecs say that this is the sixth sun. We're in the very beginning of the sixth sun, and
Because you don't know
the
when
sun
next.
controls this part
So
of
we have
the universe.
So now they're talking about all the new like I was reading about these microbes that was released somewhere because it's thawing out real quick. And it fucking wiped out this whole fucking like herd of reindeer somewhere over in,
like the north, like Finland or
yeah,
Norway.
And like this microbe released and it killed all these reindeer. So like, but again, is that really the truth?
Yeah, who knows what we're told.
Like the cows, were y'all working on the next big biological weapon out there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about like the cow.
Yeah, the cows when all the cows died. Like, bruh, come on, man.
Yeah.
The heat. They let motherfuckers that grew up in the heat.
Oh, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. What about the food? I was thinking about this when I was actually in the grocery store earlier.
Oh.
The way that we buy food is so much different today than just 50 years ago, but then 100 years ago.
Okay, but get this.
So 2 generations and then 4 generations.
Yeah.
Go back 2 generations and that's still totally different than it is today. And then go back 4 generations and it is... I mean, there were no such thing as grocery stores, or like chain grocery stores.
It was all like
some local grocers, some local
because Abandoned Market
and the farmers that sell the meat. You go to butchers,
my family went to 3
bakers.
Markets.
Yeah, it was like a butcher, a baker, and the produce place, right?
Okay, they went to Abandoned Market because Abandoned Market had their own, like, they had a butcher in the store.
Right.
Then you had Deltaville Market. They had good meats. And then there was a store in Miller's Tavern called Watts Supermarket.
Yeah, they still have that.
Yeah, but it's nothing. It's nothing.
It's not like it was.
The Indians aboard it now. So, but they were really a locally sourced where you can go get all your like southern good stuff, like your chitlins and your fatbacks and your smoked hawks and like hog moths and they had all the local bad for you type stuff that country people grew up eating. And so like these are things that my parents bought from the store: beer, bread, milk, and seasonings and stuff like that.
They grew their own produce.
All our vegetables we grew in the summer. My mom canned every year. She made her own jellies, preserves. She even did salted fish. I hate that. I don't like salted fish, but she did salted fish. She did, canned everything. Tomatoes, and in the wintertime, we, string beans, squash. You know what I mean? The only thing we didn't have fresh was salads. You know what I mean? But all winter long, we had you throw greens out. Greens is good. So we had kale, lettuce, until it snowed or froze, they still was good. So, and all my uncles, I had pigs. My dad, ourselves, we had cows, chickens.
They butchered the pigs and chicken on their own? Yep.
Everything. They did all that. And they did that all in January and February. So they were harvesting.
And they would hang it up to dry
they start in the winter though. In the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't do it in the summer because the meat was warm.
Do you know how to do this?
I haven't. I got knowledge of it. I probably wouldn't need to be guided along, but yeah, I know how to do it.
Right.
I've done it my whole life. I done processed animals my whole life. Now,
You could probably do a chicken, but maybe not a pig.
pig I need help with.
Right.
Now, the thing with the pig, because it's an art getting the water just right, getting the hair off the pig.
All right.
So it's like getting the fire in the water just right where you dip him in and come up and scrape all his hair off. Now, you get some people that'll just cut all the skin off. But if you preserving your meat and stuff like hanging it dry, hanging it and curing the smoke out, you gotta have the skin off.
Right.
And so then we shit ton of salt and pepper. We throw in the smokehouse, and I mean, it get mold and stuff on it. You know, that's inevitable. But they just scrub it and cut it off, clean it up, boy. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Virginia cured ham. That used to be famous. You used to get you a Virginia cured ham. That used to be a famous thing when I was growing up. All up and down the East Coast, boy. Virginia cured ham. Smithfield was famous.
That's owned by China now. In the food industry, and look, a lot of food processing plants have been getting burned mysteriously recently. Have you heard about this?
No, that's news to me.
I don't know enough about it to speak on it really, but yeah, look into it.
I do know that I heard of. Do you have any water?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, G. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So in Texas, they've been having big droughts, and the farmers been coming out and talking about it.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about food processing plants.
Yeah, they've been burning up.
Yeah, okay, you have heard
all
this.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot of
mysteriously.
Bro, this shit is happening on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like it too.
It is, G. It's happening on purpose, bro. Like, come on. Like, some of the stuff is just blatant now. Like, where they used to try to hide the shit. But it's so much information. Like, fuck it. We ain't gonna hide the shit no more. We're just gonna do it and tell you what we want to tell you it was. And you're gonna accept it. Because they got us so focused individually on our own selfish desires and wants and fused amongst each other.
That reminds me of pretty much this is the last topic I really want to cover. And how they're able to personalize that, what you're talking about, algorithms, social media usage, and the more you use the internet in general, the more they're able to figure out what your triggers are.
It's crazy.
It's wild. They can tailor the way the information is delivered to you.
And so, coming from a family of farmers, right, and growing up like that my whole life, and this is what when I first thought of it, I say, yo, the energy in the universe is weird. The wildlife and plants, the weather is all thrown off, bro. It's like the energy from the universe, from the earth, is like, it's all fucking whack. Like, I'm not saying it's climate control or climate change or nothing like that, but like, we are ravaging the earth of its resources. So behind us, they cut down like when COVID started and wood was a big booming and went up. Remember, they was building all these houses and stuff.
Yeah, lumber went crazy.
Bruh,
I remember that.
They cut down like over 10,000 acres of woods behind my mom's house. 10,000 acres. That's just like, and then like during COVID, when I would drive from here back to mom's house and back and forth, everywhere I went, G,
they were clearing. Just
everywhere, woods. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of acres just mowed down. You know, down our way, you either cut logs, work in the mill,
but you gotta think that's throwing off the ecosystem. Deer and all that.
Yeah, but deer are okay. Like I said, okay, we got this
it's
blight.
A web of life.
But it's things that like of years of farming I've never seen. Like this blight that's getting on everything every year now. Plants getting this black blight on them and it's just killing them. Plants not producing because of the heat. Like, it's been hot. And if you don't got the water to water your shit every day, man, they burning the fuck up.
Yeah.
The animals, their food resources are so short, they eat everything. Like I've seen, like I know deer always eat beans, right? But I've seen like the deer at the house, up around the house, they're eating everything. Everything.
Right.
They're eating the the beans, they're eating the tomatoes, they're eating things that I've never seen them eat before. They even eating the blackberry bushes down to nothing.
Hmm.
Just that, just tearing them up. Now they starting to eat the squash.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a skunk eat one of my zucchinis.
And it's just like, it's just they're doing things like the squirrels are just like devil rodents. Like they're causing a lot of destruction. Like we've never had problems with. We got squirrels coming up to the front door trying to chew holes in the door now. Like come on, we've never had no problem with that.
Right.
Oh, just crazy stuff, man. Just seeing like nature off whack. Seeing plants just where they used to produce, they're on different seasons and they're not doing it now. Like you gotta almost now plant double to get what you used to get with a smaller grow.
Right.
Like that.
Because you have to plan on so much failure.
Yeah, like let's say I can get these many quarts of string beans to last me the winter, right? So if say I put 3 rows of beans in, but now I put 3 rows of beans in, one row might not bloom, kick off no beans, and I got the deer eating the other 2 rows. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now you're going into, and now you got all these new, woke folks. Like I love them to death because I love the fact that they're trying to be self-sufficient if something would happen. But people need to really realize like how much you really need to grow and can and store up. Like
Well,
three.
what do you mean about the woke folk? What do you mean? What are they doing?
Okay, say like the people in the city. They've never cared about growing anything. But now, way the economy is going, and a lot of this has to do with social media hype and fear. People are afraid that they're not going to have nothing to eat. They're not going to, they're just scared. So now you got people, they want to be gardeners. They want to grow their own food. They want to do this. And the people who've been doing it for years, now they can't find the things that they need because there's so many new people into it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Just like when weed went legal. You had all these growers, that's been growing, been fire ass growers. Now when it's legal, now all of a sudden everybody.
I'm guilty on both of those counts, though. I'm a new gardener and a new grower, so I'm guilty on both.
Like I said, I'm not mad because I want people to be self-efficient. I want people to learn to, if shit get really, really crazy,
you gotta have that skill set.
I mean, how long can you think that with inflation the way it's going and with the Fed raising inflation rates, how long do you think that you can survive paying $1,500 a month on rent?
And rent's going up. Yeah, no, I know.
Electric's going up.
Everything.
Food's going up. Gas is up already.
Yeah, everything.
So how am I supposed to survive? How am I supposed to feed myself? And so you got all these city people trying to grow, but in reality, one tomato plant, some herbs, a couple like peppers, like that's not gonna feed your family, bro.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, first of all, learn what to grow that's gonna feed your family. Grow your ass some potatoes. Some fast producing plants like squash and zucchini and cucumber, stuff that produce a lot.
Right.
To where you can make stuff and you can make other things out of them. Cucumbers, you can dill them, make them pickles. I think people need to get more into raising their own grain. Like, the little section, put some wheat, some non-GMO heirloom wheat. You know what I mean? Let it go. Come up the seeds. Save some of the seeds so you can have next year. Boom, boom. You grind it down in the flour, whatever you want. Like I think people really need to get back to that. And I'm not trying to like fearmonger people, but like I really think that you're going to see a really, really a bigger transfer of wealth. And I'm starting to see rich people starting to fight over money now. So when you see that, you know, beware, you know, when they start losing their shit. So, like, I just really feel like people need to get in a way because, like, I don't want to see people dependent on the government or in no kind of system because now I feel like they're going to make you sell your soul.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, listen.
Okay, if
I think you need a government. You don't need government
But when they tell you that in order to get
it.
EBT, you got to be vaccinated, got to do this.
No, I'm not down with any of that. But I'm talking about even if we were to have that 100-acre four families of four, you would still need a set of rules.
Hell yeah, you need
there would
rules.
Still
we
be
talked about
government.
This before.
Yeah, I mean that's
rules.
government. That's government.
But you need rules. Like I'm not all anti-government. I just feel like you always need rules.
Agreements, anyway.
Yes.
Not necessarily rules, but
agreements.
Yeah.
And known repercussions.
Exactly.
For these agreements.
Agreed upon repercussions if this situation was
arise.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I don't know. I just think people really, really just need to see their situation because, like, that's one thing about ownership. And that's why I'm happy for you because you do have this. And, I mean, as long as you pay, even though you got to pay taxes on it.
And a mortgage.
You know what I mean?
But it's still, every time you pay your mortgage payment, don't get me wrong, it sucks, but it's still some of that is going toward.
But you beat the COVID curve.
Equity. Are you talking about how prices skyrocketed?
Prices, all that. Like, can you imagine buying this? Like,
buying a house right now is expensive.
Bruh.
Yeah, for sure.
You better be 750 in credit score.
Yeah.
And have about 20 grand in cash saved up.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pay over market value at least 70, 80 grand.
Yeah, probably. There's a correction coming for sure.
And then all those people who didn't bought houses during the COVID, like, they going to lose big time.
You think it's going to crash?
If inflation don't drop. I mean, if they don't stop lowering these interest rates, I mean, hiking them up. They keep hiking the interest rates up. Ain't nobody buy no houses. Who gonna afford the loans at the rates that they got right now? You talking about, bro, like right now these houses, even a smaller house is going for what, let's say low threes with the interest rate that's out there now. You talking about $2 grand a month easy. And
you think this is worth $3 grand, this house? This property? It was appraised like in December of this past year at like $270.
I wouldn't pay that for it.
But I'm saying, you think that it would be possible to get that?
Fuck yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Hell yeah, easy. Shit. With the size of this yard in your house, shit. You might be cutting yourself short. I wouldn't even drop below 3.
Damn, I didn't realize it was like that.
Shit, yeah.
I mean, I knew it was,
Gee, you right now, you sitting on about, if you say that's what they gave you now, on the market, she about 3 to 325.
December, yeah.
She about 325, 325.
It's gone up that much in the last 8 months?
Bruh. Jerome just hiked it up again, bruh. I forgot what he raised it up again to, but yeah. Interest rates went back up every so many weeks. They jump it up again. So, what the banks had already said, like, how can anybody buy homes with the interest rates like this?
Yeah,
something got to change.
If the interest rates are going up, that doesn't mean the price.
The price is going to have to come back down. Yeah. So now you're going to have a lot of people over their head. Because I know a shit a ton of people bought houses during COVID. because of scamming and fraud, and a lot of them was getting PPE loans that they shouldn't have. They was getting unemployment when they shouldn't have been. Like I know some people, man, that got cleared 30, 40 racks between PPE loan and unemployment.
Yeah, what was the PPP? That was like a business
And I
loan,
think
right?
that's why
The PPP,
Biden.
didn't you have to own a small business to get
All
that?
you had to do is have an LLC loan, an LLC license.
Really? Even if your LLC didn't do shit?
Yes.
Damn, I should have applied for that.
Man. I'm trying to tell you, man. My trying to, man, I know, but yeah, there's a lot, bruh.
Wow.
A dude, it was a guy I know. He showed me his phone and was showing me how much money he was getting off unemployment while he was at work. And this is how it's like if I was a rotten dude, like if I was a hater ass type guy, I could have, you know what I mean? Like I could have turned him in, but people don't think about like that. But yeah. And then he was getting his unemployment put into a Cash App account. Like they was putting it to his cash, like I guess his bank and stuff was a link.
I mean, I don't. It's hard to even blame him the way that things are.
But I was reading an article the other day where your boy just created 87. He won 87,000 new IRS.
It's just like people like people like that get so much slack, but then it's like there's these corporate fucking bastards that are stealing hundreds of millions of dollars.
They don't care about them,
and it's whatever, you know. Yeah.
Look how many people got bailed out during COVID.
Yeah. No.
That shouldn't have got a damn drop. I would have gave the airlines no money.
Yeah. No, I know. That's what irks me is the big corporations, because a guy like that,
Come on,
maybe he is.
Come on, bro. Those airlines, they won't take no loss. That's lies, bro. What kind of losses y'all
the hotels,
I can see the hotels.
The banks in 2008. Still, all of it. If it fails, if it's a big business and it fails, why is that more special than a small business failing?
They saved Ford. Did they really like? I mean, them saving like Ford when Obama gave them a stipend, right, when he was in office. Did that really save Detroit? Is that many people still working that mill if it went under? That it would already be over with. Like the shit is already a fucking ghost town.
Yeah, that's something Andrew Yang was. What do you think about like automation taking over jobs?
Oh, it's coming quick. They just ain't figured out. They ain't got it all yet together yet. I think they would be if they wouldn't freak people out if they go in and see a android that look like you.
So you think they've already got the technology? It's just I feel you.
Is their biggest thing is introducing it. See, what they realize that the human mind right now is in a fragile state. Like we're on a tipping edge right now.
Everybody's anxious.
Yeah. So if you do something too much right now, it could cause a major wave. And so I think if you start pushing out people like bots and stuff, and it don't even gotta be like look like a humanoid, like just a regular. I saw a couple years ago, man, when I was going down 301, and they had the automatic stop signs where the dudes used to hold the signs in the road, and they had the machines doing it for them. It was no men. It was just they were talking to each other in sync. One go up, boom, boom. And it was just like automations. And then I got an email the other day. And I was like a couple months ago, and I was looking at it was Miso Robotics, and they was selling. They was like, "Yo, invest in us. We're $10 a share." And it was the little arm in fast food restaurants to do the fries. And they was starting out at $10 a share. Now I looked at them again the other day. Now they got Gordon Ramsay advertising, talking for them.
Gotcha. They got
that quick.
Celebrity endorsement.
That quick.
Yeah.
So I said, I bet you this shit is not $10 as a shot stock no more.
No kidding.
But like LT was trying to tell me, he was like, those type of things, like, he's more like mindset, like he feel like that's kind of far, like it's coming, but not like right now.
That's the one you want to get in on it, though, right?
Like I said, $10 a share don't sound bad.
He's a little conservative for me, but that's me.
Yeah, everybody has their own view.
I don't mean like politically. I mean his like financial
Yeah,
philosophy.
yeah.
But I'm a risk taker, I guess.
Yeah, but I think that's probably the path that he followed, like his guys that he look up to,
Right.
that he follow. I think that's what he follows. But I'm not for sure, but that's what I would say.
Well, we've had a dope talk so far.
Yeah.
I don't want to wrap it up quite yet. I just want to ask, what, as far as ignoring that, what would you want to tell the internet, the world of the internet? Any thought, like any prevailing thought or idea or whatever that you want to share with the internet?
Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. The only way you'll get better in life and ahead is that you accept all truth, even about yourself. And if you can't start that, and if you can't do that within yourself, like you're no good to the world or to no one. Because until you can handle yourself and deal with yourself and know what you want, it's the only time where you can really start making a difference in your own life and in others. So I just say, be true to yourself. Learn to love yourself. That way you can love others and show others how to do it, because there's a lot of people out here that do not know how to love themselves or others. And it's a shame. And I think if we have more people that learn how to love themselves, they could make bigger influences in their own lives and in their families. And when you start in the families or in the tribe, that means the community gets better. And when the community gets better, the area gets better. And then hopefully it'll be like a
ripple effect.
So yeah, just the truth and knowing yourself and what it is and being true to it and sticking to it, because there's a lot of things today that's going on that would have you, go against the grain and, have a sheepish mentality and be woe is me and believe everything is told to you. And a lot of it is all lies. And I think that we just need to get back to being the truth and being more primitive human beings. I think we need to get back to some simplicity and because that's what it's really all about at the end of the day. I mean, what's your goal? What's your goal? I mean, we're fathers, so our outlook changed. And so now it's about preparing a way for our bloodline to exist and to thrive if something would happen to us. And I know it sounds so cliche, but the older I get, the more I think about my mortality. And nobody wants to die. And so...
Yeah, but I feel like it's something that you can accept.
Yeah, but as you get older, it's something that now you got to prepare for.
Yeah, but the more you accept it, the more that you can live, I feel like.
Yeah, you can.
Because if you're always like worried about it, then you're not really living. You're like...
Very true, but it's very true.
Like,
but there's a lot of people that worry about it.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of people that worry about it. I think just for me, just thinking about it, like acknowledging, say, hey, look, man, I gotta get my shit in order. Like that type look at it. You know what I mean? Not have it to where it control your thoughts, but in a matter where it has to be a part of your business, your future business. So like, yeah, that's about pretty much it, man. That and get like I said, primitive living, bro. Get back to being part of the earth. walking barefooted, letting your feet feel the dirt. You know what I mean?
I dig it.
You know what I mean?
I liked what you said when you first started too about, I know at least in my experience, like the search for truth when you first start, because of the distractions of the world and just like the way that our culture is, like it's so tempting to look for truth outside of yourself.
Yeah.
For some genius person to tell you the truth or to like
Exactly.
convey some amazing philosophy to you about like what's the truth, and you'll be able to hold on to that truth, but the more you live life and experience your day-to-day life, it's the more you realize that the truth is being true to you, like what you say. The real truth is how you operate and the agreements that you make, the decisions that you make on a day-to-day and on a moment-to-moment basis.
Yeah, exactly. Because a moment now could change your life drastically in a blink of an eye, baby.
Awesome to have you on.
Thank you, baby.
Episode 50, the way I counted it, there's a lot of episodes that I unpublished for various reasons. There was a few that I just felt like they weren't up to snuff. They just didn't make the cut for me. And then there was like 4 episodes where I did like a book review, and when I went back and listened to it, it sounded like me just droning on about it. So I was like, I'm cutting those. But I do have a bonus episode from when I was a guest on Realized Radio, which I mentioned a couple times here. And then the Quadcast that we did back in the day, that was a 3-part episode. Me and James did a 2-part episode back in 2021 as well. So those 2-part and 3-part episodes are kind of like multiple episodes, so they kind of make up for the unpublished ones. But anyways, the way I've counted it, this is episode 50. It was awesome to have you for number 50, Kenny.
Thank you, baby.
Take it easy, brother.
Thanks, man.
Do you believe in repenting? What if the kingdom of heaven's within you? Do you think you would enter, huh? What do you know, huh? How do you know truth from the pit of your soul, or just cause somebody told you? Do you think about what you think about? Do you see yourself in the people that you hang around? Keep quiet, let me think aloud. Listen up, wanna break it down and question your perceptions. I'ma break it down and question your perceptions. Do you ever question your perceptions? Do you ever question it? Oh yeah. What if your money was worthless? Then would you know what your worth is and reconsider living with a purpose? How would you determine what work is? Are you seeking what's easy to purchase, or is it deeper than what's on the surface? Do you question your perceptions? Ever so is real, huh? It ain't your politicians, nor your status. All of that is fiction, so it's real, huh? It ain't your entertainment, nor the industry. I heard it's filled with fake shit. And I need truth over everything. Yeah. I need truth above all else. Just I need truth over everything. Yeah, give me the truth, give me the truth, give me the truth, yeah.